Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. And this video is to bring you a closer look at the Adams Rite, their part number 4550. This is a lever trim that allows you to lock or unlock their Adams Rite MS series deadbolts. This is used to replace an interior cylinder or to replace an interior thumb turn, which you can unlock and relock the unit with the lever. Okay, this is obviously available in two different hands, and they are field reversible. You can order it the hand that you want, but they are, if it happens to come not the correct hand for whatever reason, it can be field reversed. We'll get to that in a moment. So this 4550 allows easy unlocking of any MS deadbolt by approximately 3 pounds of force on this 3-inch lever. Lever is spring-loaded to horizontal, relocks with upward motion, indicator indicates it being locked or unlocked, can be utilized in place of an existing key cylinder or cylinder-type thumb turn on the inside of the door. This is going to be available, of course, in either of the two hands, really either of the four hands, but the left hand or the trim for a left hand would be the same operation for a left hand reverse. So if you have a left hand or a left hand reverse, it's the same lock. Available in the satin aluminum finish as seen here, which is the 628 or the 313 dark bronze anodized. There is a link below this video to a document called Product Brochure, and let's tackle that. It's a cut sheet, basically. Aluminum casting is 1 3/8 wide. Let's go over some dimensional properties. 1 3/8 wide, 7.5 inch tall. It's really closer to 7 1/4. 1 inch depth. Overall projection to the outside of the lever is closer to 2 1/4. Stop clearance. Lever housing projects 11/16 of an inch forward of the cylinder back set. Depending on the height of the door stop and width of the door jamb, it may be necessary to modify the stop to clear the housing. For fin or blade type stops, this is easily accomplished. What they're saying is this might conflict, the edge of this might conflict with your stop. You might need to modify the stop to allow the housing, and as a result, this would not work on units with a 7/8 of an inch back set in any regard. Depending on the construction of your aluminum frame, probably what you have this installed to, you might need to modify the stop, is the bottom line, as the lever housing projects 11/16 forward of the cylinder backset center line. So if your cylinder backset center line, see if I can illustrate this less complicated. So what we're saying is the center line of this square preparation is going to be the center line of the backset. The distance from the center line of the backset to the side of the housing is 11/16. So the center line, the edge of the door to the backset, to the center line of that backset, you know you're going to eat up 11/16 of half of the body width. Okay, so you can determine your backset by measuring what you have, going 11/16 over, and then deciding, does that conflict with where the location is or the projection is of the stop in the aluminum frame? If it does, then you know that you have to modify the stop or your hardware that you're about to order. Easy unlocking of any MS deadbolt. Okay, we've covered that. We're looking at page 1 of the cut sheet. 3-inch long aluminum lever with end return design offers comfortable grip to lock or unlock the door. Words locked in red letters and open in black letters. That's actually green. Indicator is driven by the lock itself. We'll go over that in a moment. Compatible with MS pivoted door deadbolt, including schoolhouse versions with the 4550, the MS 1850S, the MS 1950, MS 1837, derivative units such as the 1870 or 1870 HM or the 1877 flush bolts will work and can be operated. Not compatible with the MS Plus 1890 latch lock or other 7/8 of an inch backset locks. Turn the operation out. Turn the lever downward to unlock. When released, lever returns to horizontal. Turn upward to relock. Key operation from outside is not affected. Clutching action prevents damage to internal components, which is a feature of the cam plug itself. This will clutch, meaning you can rotate that in the wrong direction. Let's say it's already locked and you lift it up. It's not going to damage anything, is what that means. On to page 2 of the product brochure, we'll give you all the dimensional properties that we've basically gone over. Bottom left-hand corner allows you to derive your part number. This is a 4550, and then you're going to add the L or the R, depending on the hand. The -01, just go with it. That's -01. It's a placeholder value. And actually 3 finishes. The 130 is aluminum, 121 and 119 is black anodized. 335 is also available. Now, and you select those items when you are adding the lock to the cart. There is also a link to the installation instructions. And step 1 on page 1 shows you how to modify the door to prepare for the inclusion of the 4550. Remove your hardware, mark your center line. It will come with a template that you will, and it's self-adhesive, apply this to the face of the door, and you're going to align this with the edge of the door based on the hand that you're doing, and it will give you the location of where to drill or where to center punch. Be careful because you probably have a glass door, and then drill your 2 holes to make all that work. You may or may not already have a cylinder applied on the inside. You may not, but this template will allow you to drill the preparations for the exit indicator preparation. You're going to need this hole regardless because that's where the cam plug is going to go through. Just be careful when you are, obviously center punching holes into a door with glass. I would be very cautious in that regard. I like to use, in cases like this, an incredibly small drill bit, the smallest I can get my hands on, like a 1/16 of an inch, because that will allow me to start that hole in lieu of using a center punch, which may give some vibration to the door, which you may not want to give it based on the fact that there's glass. Cam assembly installation, and here is the cam assembly. It's non-handed, can be used in either orientation. It's got these 2 spring-loaded fingers that are on there, and those are going to be really important to take note of. Rotate the actuating hub so that the cam arms are shown as they are in figure 2. That's what it looks like, figure 2. You'll note that there's a little doodad right there that's going to be pointed up. Okay? It's the only way to accomplish that. There's one at the other side as well, but in order to make it look like figure 2, it'll look like that. That hole's got to be vertical, pointed towards the top. Insert the cam assembly into the lock. You'll then tighten the set screw that's in the edge of the lock body itself to tighten that down, just like you would have, which would seat here, just like you would have if you had a mortise thumb turn on the outside, which you surely do. Install and then tighten with the 2 brass screws that you're going to get through these holes into the face of the lock, and that will attach this down to the door properly, or down to the lock set properly. Rotate the actuating hub at that point, this, to make sure that it locks and unlocks. Just make sure you've got it installed correctly before proceeding. You've got your holes drilled in step 1. You've got your cam plug installed in step 2. Step 3 is to attach the lever actually to the door, and the back of the cam assembly is going to go right into that drive plug, and obviously is going to look just like this when you have this installed. Okay? That'll be secured. That plug will go into the drive assembly, and now you're off to the races. The step 3 is you've made sure that you've got proper operation. Rotate the actuating hub until deadbolt extends and until it makes a complete stop. Then rotate the actuating hub back approximately a 1/4 turn until the hole is at the 12 o'clock position shown in step 3, figure 5. Okay, that'll be important to get that lever drive plug assembly and this to mate together. So bring that back to the pin in the top to the 12 o'clock. You've pre-drilled your holes, tighten your lever assembly down with the screws that are included. However, we have certainly missed a step, haven't we? We have. What you're going to do first is I skipped over step 2. The actuating plug is attached to the door. You've extended the lock and you know that it works. Insert step 2 of part 2 of step 3. Insert the exit indicator spring in the lower hole of the bolt cutout. Your bolt is already prepped for this. Then you set the position of this to locked. Your bolt is extended. This is obviously going to connect here, allowing you to drive that. Then place your lever assembly over the door, secure it to the face of the door. Sorry about skipping that step. Turn the lever downward 90 to unlock. Make sure everything works. Smooth operation. It now says unlocked. Turn it back up to relock it. Make sure it stays locked and everything is fully locked. Now, and that's really all there is to this. You can rehand the lock, which is covered in step 4. Well, there's no step, I suppose, but the last part of page 2. In order to do so, you're going to remove this screw. I'm not going to go through the steps because it's fairly simple. Remove that screw. This bushing and the spring behind it is going to come out. At that point, remove the 4 screws here, and the stop plate is then going to come out. The plate below it will actually be loose. There's no reason to remove that. Now, it's a bit unusual in the installation or the rehanding instructions. Remove the screws as stated. Turn the lever 1.5 rotations. You're going to turn the lever 540 degrees. You're going to make this go all the way around once and then a half. Don't do a half a turn. You got to do a full and a half, 1 full half rotation. Now, when you have done that, you're going to ensure that the drive hub is aligned vertically as shown in figure 6. Figure 6 is showing this lock. This lock is for a left-hand door or a left-hand reverse door. You'll notice that there is a little dot right there, and it's even indicated in the figure 6. When you rehand it to a right-hand or a right-hand reverse, that dot is going to be pointed down. And that's how it ought to be, how it needs to be, which is not indicated on here at all. And prior to making this video, I physically rehanded it to ensure that I understood that correctly. That dot will be pointed down, and then your handle is going to be in the opposite orientation. Then you're going to simply put everything back together the way that you did. There's really no way to lose anything in that regard. You're going to be able to put everything together quite well. Now, there are a couple of two pieces that will be left over, and this is the 2 and 3 point systems, exit indicator spring, pin and exit indicator spring. When you have a 2 or 3 point system, you're going to use these two, this short spring and the pin, in lieu of the long exit indicator spring. So expect that you're going to have a couple of parts over if you're doing a standard MS deadbolt, or 1 part left over if you're doing a 2 or 3 point lock. Drill and tap the holes because you're going to get these machine screws. They're going to hold the body on. Okay, that's how that works. There is a table showing the available replacement parts and their part numbers, which is very handy. The cam plug, we've sold that in the past. Any piece of hardware will fatigue with enough time, with enough usage or vandalism, I suppose. So that table is helpful there. That will allow you to find the part numbers for the replacement parts. And then after that, we've exhausted all the pieces that are here. So there's nothing else to go over in terms of the installation of this item. Finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Adams Rite hardware that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If it's aluminum storefront hardware, certainly the name Adams Rite is quite synonymous, but perhaps familiarize yourself with their catalog because they do a lot more hardware than you might understand. Dead latches and deadbolts, push paddles, pull paddles, levers, different types, a variety of specialty flush bolts. Obviously, electric strikes people know Adams Rite for, but they get into a lot of exit devices as well that you'll see on aluminum storefront hardware. A very specialty hardware company that if you spend any time in the hardware industry, you will certainly cross their path sooner or later. If you have any questions on the Adams Rite 4550 lever for the MS Series deadbolt and others, or any other Adams Rite product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.